Hey guys, welcome back. First, I want to say I would like to jump right in and start discussing what I am building here, or I should say what I'm furnishing, because I've already built the house, but I'm going to talk about that first because I have a lot of things that I want to say, and I just want to make sure that the right people are here for this conversation, because I've realized that when I start talking to you guys about my life and the things that I'm going through, and then just like freely talking, it's a way of me, I don't want to say channeling, but like I guess channeling the greater good of people who are listening, because there are some of you who have reached out to me and said that the things that I talk about resonate with you and that you like what I'm talking about. So I really appreciate you guys who have stayed through and listened to whatever it is that I had on my mind that day. But today specifically, if you are watching me furnish this house I built was the one-story Florida style house build that I made in Willow Creek, and this particular house is being used for a main character in my new series called Divine Timing. So this is going to be Mr. Grady, or James Grady's house. I'm not gonna go into all of the relationships and like everything about him, because if you're curious, then you should watch. And I do want to say thank you to all of you who have been watching. I definitely see that you guys have been viewing it. Thank you guys so much for all of your encouragement and your beautiful comments and responses to all the hard work that I've been putting in. To continue, I just wanted to say, in furnishing James Grady's house, he is more of a, I don't know how to describe him, but I'm just gonna say it was very difficult for me to furnish his house, because I had to like kind of get in the mindset of how would a man furnish this place. And although it still might not look very manly, it's like this is the best that I could do in trying to furnish this place like a man would furnish it, but still liking what I did, because I'm just somebody who, if I'm going to furnish something, I have to like it too. Even if it's not my style, I have to in some way like this in order to do it. I guess that's one of my downfalls with being more open to other styles, but I kind of stick with like the same kind of styles. So that's what you'll probably see in the way that I'm furnishing it. But I did add some color, and you'll notice throughout me furnishing it, some of the rooms were already like pre-furnished a little bit. And then of course, like when we get to me furnishing his bedroom, I did start furnishing that because I was thinking about doing a different kind of scene that I would need his bedroom for sooner than later, but I never did. So you'll see that his bedroom is a little bit furnished. But as far as the other rooms in his house go, there are some rooms that have beds in them. He doesn't live with anyone and no one lives with him. However, he is very close to his family. So he has a mother, father, and a younger sister. And in the series, you'll see them show up later on in the series, but he has 2 bedrooms dedicated to whether or not his mom wants to stay or his sister wants to stay. And then he has a room that's like I don't want to call it a man cave, because it's not necessarily a man cave, but it's more like his, I guess if he had some buddies over and he wanted to hang out in a separate room away from like the family room or the living room, that man cave would be it. So yeah, I don't really think there's much more I need to say about the house, just because you're seeing how I'm furnishing it. But if there are any questions about anything that I put into his house, or like why I styled something a certain way, definitely leave a comment. Let me know what your questions are, and if it's something that could be answered by watching the series, I'm just going to direct you there. But yeah, that's all I really had to say about how I was furnishing James Grady's house. Now, to move on, the first thing I want to do is pull a card from my Soul's Journey lesson cards deck that is meant for someone to hear today. So after shuffling the cards, I pulled a card, and of course, I'm just going to throw this out there. I definitely feel like I've just been being led by the universe, by God, whomever you want to call it, to bring messages to people, to whomever is listening, that needs to to hear these messages, because when I tell you, these past few weeks in my life have been like a living testament of, I don't know, transformation, going through challenges, overcoming challenges. And I think that somebody probably needs to hear about specifically what was happening so that I can help you understand how I don't believe that anything is a coincidence. But this card that I pulled today is called Change. And the card says, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. And then in the book, it explains that there's a certain comfort in the idea of living a life without surprises. The status quo has an appeal, but you will never learn to grow if your circumstances stay the same. Everybody wants life to be better, but that requires change. You have chosen to incarnate into this physical dimension called Earth because of the myriad of opportunities. If you don't take advantage of them, what was the point? Staying within your comfort zone is overrated. With change comes transformation, and with transformation comes evolution. Stop viewing change as good or bad, because all change nourishes the soul. Don't equate it with a lack of control. Life happens, and it's supposed to happen. You can direct how it plays out, and you always have the power to accept a change that redirects your path. Okay, so the reason I believe that nothing is a coincidence is because this card that I pulled, Change, is exactly what my past few weeks have been like. There's been so many changes that have happened in my life that have come by, I would say, storm, surprise, and joy. And I'm not sure who else this message is for, but I will tell you that some of the changes that I've gone through and the reason why it's been kind of like a process for me to post my next video is because a few weeks ago, I took an entire weekend to figure out where my files went. Yes, it happened yet again. And I did say that I would take better care of my files. And it's funny because this, I believe, is a lesson for me to start really listening to my intuition. That little small voice inside of you that tells you to do something. It's so subtle and so quiet, yet so true, was telling me to back up my files before starting the next chapter of divine timing. However, when I start creating my videos, I get so enveloped in the creation process that I don't allow for anything to stop or slow me down. And although that voice was telling me, hey, you need to back up your files before moving forward, I'm like, I'll do it later. Let me just procrastinate on that, put it off, keep putting it off, and I'll do it another time. But what happened was, because I didn't listen to that voice, I ended up paying for it later. And rightfully so, I spent an entire 48 hours in my room searching up and down in my PC for files that I could not find. Eventually, yes, I was able to retrieve a majority of the files, but through that process, I lost 48 hours worth of editing time that I could have been working on divine timing, but instead I had to use that time to recoup all that I had lost. I want to say a couple of things about that. One, yes, change can be good because you learn a lot through the process. And I did learn a lot through that process. I learned, number one, you gotta back up your files. Number two, when your intuition is telling you something, you need to start listening. So now I'm doing a better job of actually trying to listen to that little voice inside of me instead of just powering through and thinking that I can just get to something later or put it off. And then the other thing is, through that whole process, I think I was so frantic about the situation while it was happening because I realized that I had started this project of creating a new series that I'm really into. And when I thought that I had lost the files and I logged into the game and saw my characters, it freaked me out because my characters were missing a ton of CC, which I could not find. So I had to go in and, do the whole thing. But even though I did retrieve a majority of that CC back, some of my characters look a little different. Whenever you start watching the next few episodes, if things look different, like the characters or their houses or some of the things that I've shown you through the series already, that would be the reason why. So Change is good. Change can also be, I don't want to say bad, but different. Change can be different. It can be an adjustment. Another thing that changed for me was, once again, I wasn't listening to my intuition. I was cooking, and instead of using a strainer to strain noodles, I strained the noodles using the pot lid, and my hand slipped and my arm hit the bottom of the burning pot. And right where my arm hit the pot was on top of my birthmark. Funny story, my birthmark is actually in a shape of a heart. It's not an exact heart, but it's a subtle heart. And now there's a huge scar on top of it. And looking back at the whole situation, I laugh because I'm like, what is that? Why did that even happen? And it's because I was not listening to my intuition that told me to get the strainer out. I thought I could just power through and take the easy way out. And I ended up learning a real lesson. And the lesson is, hey, if you don't listen to your intuition, then you could very well hurt yourself. And that's exactly what happened. I got burned. And that little heart birthmark that I have now has a dagger going through it. There is a long scar on top of it. It's never going to change. It's the worst burn I've ever had. It looks like a brand. It's actually really creepy looking. But my whole reason for saying this is, yes, change can be good and change could be an adjustment. But all in all, we need change to grow. And it definitely taught me to, like I said, listen to my intuition, to stop trying to take the easy way out, to power through, to persevere. And those were my lessons these past few weeks. So I guess I'm saying all of that to pass on my knowledge through my journey to help anyone else who might be struggling through a challenge or a change right now. And what I can say is, don't try to fight the change. If there's change happening in your life and it needs to happen, or it's going to happen regardless of what you say or do, let it happen. Just let it happen and go with the flow. But also listen to your intuition. Like, if you know how to listen to your intuition, do it, because it can only help you. And I would say, if you don't know how to listen to your intuition, then there is a lot of videos on YouTube that can help you learn how to do that. I would say, from my own advice, it's that little voice that's so subtle that you almost miss it. It's like that quick thought that comes to mind that's like, boom, do this. It comes out of nowhere. And your intuition is never going to lead you wrong. So if it's something like a thought that is a negative thought or something that doesn't seem like it's a good thing to do, I wouldn't listen to that. Your intuition's going to be loving and care for you. It's nothing like your ego. The ego is always going to try and protect you. So the ego is going to be more lenient on the side of doing something that's not good for your growth. So I can't think of a good example right now, but all I would say is definitely try to listen to your intuition. I cannot stress it enough. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else I really want to press on. I just really wanted to tell you guys kind of like what I was going through these past few weeks, just because I just think that it's important to be authentic, and I'm not trying to hide the fact that I'm human. So yeah, we all go through stuff, and I'm just trying to be a light that someone else might need, that hopefully maybe something in whatever I had to say today could help someone. And to go off into a different direction, I believe in signs and synchronicities. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but through these past few weeks that I've been going through these changes, I have been seeing so many butterflies, and I don't mean like real life butterflies. I've been seeing like pictures of butterflies in passing, or I'll see something on TV with a butterfly or something on a picture. Or for an example, as I was editing this video that you're watching right now, I was taking cinematic shots of the house so that I could have like some B-roll for this video. And in the video at the very end, like I got up to like run to the bathroom and I didn't realize the camera was still rolling. And when I started editing, I realized that a butterfly started flying across the camera view in front of this house in the game. And it was so pretty. And I was thinking to myself, wow, that's so significant, because these past few weeks that I've been going through these changes in my life, really made me feel like I was going through metamorphosis. And now I actually feel like the butterfly that I am. And so now I'm going to spread my wings, guys. And basically, I guess that's symbolic for me. So you see a butterfly, maybe that's your sign that the tough, oh my goodness, if you hear that in the background, that is my son. But anyways, all I'm trying to say is if you're going through a tough time and you see some butterflies, maybe that's your sign that it's almost over and that you're about to see the fruits of your labor. But that is all I have for you guys today, and I hope you guys are well. Thank you so much again for getting me to reach 100 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. It's a joy to see how many people are enjoying my work, and it's just a joy to do. So till next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.